Hey, good evening, apartment hackers. It's David Monroe, CCIM, coming back to you from my lovely hotel. We had a good time in Pensacola last night. Had quite a few people show up. They left a whole bunch of food. I brought back to the hotel like 100 chicken fingers from Foosackly's. So we shared them with folks in the hotel. So we made sure everybody got food. And we had a whole bunch of tea, and we shared some of the tea with the hotel, and they were very appreciative of that, because they don't give tea in the networking, or what they call the social 2 hours every Monday through Thursday. Anyway, we shared a lot of that. So it was a good time. Look, tonight I want to talk about how to define your investment criterion. And here's the reason why. I was on the phone the other day with kind of a newer investor, and he was asking me about, how I can find him a property. When I asked him, what's your investment criteria, he said, well, I'm looking for 50 to 150 units, Class C value add. And I said, okay, so is everybody else. Give me some more details on that. What are your goals? What are your metrics? And he's like, well, I want it above a 10 cap. I just kind of chuckled a little bit. I'm like, yeah, okay, good luck on that one in this market. And I said, why? And he couldn't define it. All he said was, because I read it in this book and I went to the seminar, and they both said the same thing, that I should be looking for properties that are over a 10 cap. And I said, well, what does that mean to you? And he said that if I pay cash for the property, that I should be able to get a 10% cash on cash return for that year. And I said, are you going to pay cash for the property? He says, no, we'll get financing. I said, okay, so what cap rate do you need for getting financing? He says, I don't know. So, all right, he couldn't define it any further than that. So let's talk a little bit about what investment criteria really means. So, and I've asked this from a few different folks and said, what are your goals when you're investing in a multifamily property? Are you wanting a specific return, or are you doing this for cash flow? Are you doing this to build wealth? What is your ultimate goal? And I try to dig down to see, where the core inner kind of what I want to do is. And usually it comes down to, at some point, building wealth. So what I try to tell everybody is, when you're investing for a return, then, usually people that are already wealthy or already doing pretty well, they need to take money and put that into an investment. They have to get their money making money. And so they want a specific return for that investment. So they'll either invest for the internal rate of return over a 5 to 10 year period or longer, or they'll want a specific cash on cash return for that year. Or if it's an investor that's investing in your deal, typically they're looking for some kind of return. But for you as the sponsor, or you as an individual purchasing a property, what do you want to do? So when it's just you and you're just getting started, and your goal is to build wealth over a period of time, then you need to forget about cap rate. You need to forget about cash on cash return. Your goal really is cash flow. So if you're wanting to build wealth over a long period, or you got by a specific date, you want to be wealthy, or you want to be financially independent, the only way you're going to get there is from your money making you money. And setting a specific return or anything like that really isn't going to help you. So you want to set kind of a cash flow number. So if I want to make $2,000 a month from a property cash flow, then that's got to be my benchmark. And that's how you need to communicate it to whoever's out looking for you, whether it's a bird dog, or whether it's a wholesaler, or whether it's a broker, or doesn't matter who it is. If you've got somebody helping you find properties, better communicate to them that you're a cash flow investor because you're wanting to build wealth. Or if you're a passive investor and you're already at the point where you have wealth and you are wanting a specific return, then say, look, I want a 10% or 12% or 8% cash on cash return. Still can be a function of cap rate, but when you factor debt in there, it's much more difficult to figure out what the cap rate is when you're using debt than when you're not using debt. And that is way beyond the scope of this specific video. And I may try to blow your minds in the next day or two and actually do a video on how to figure out your cap rate using the capital stack method. Right now, I don't want to confuse anybody. Just know that when you're investing for a certain goal, if that goal is building wealth, then you want to be a cash flow investor. If you're already wealthy or almost at that point and you're investing passively, then yeah, you can do a benchmark like cash on cash return or internal rate of return. And I'm not going to go into this video on what internal rate of return is. So hopefully that'll help you guys understand more when you're communicating. Again, whether it's with a broker, a bird dog, a wholesaler, whatever, that you're wanting to build wealth. Therefore, you want cash flow. So the higher the cash flow on the property, the better off you are. So you can take that money and reinvest it and continue to get more and more cash flow until you get your income from your passive investments being greater than your daily or monthly or yearly expenses, and therefore the definition of being wealthy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you're interested at all in becoming a mentoring student, I do group mentoring. Please let me know. Just send me a PM. I don't want to put a link in the bio because I like to share the links into different groups, and they don't want like having those links in there. So just send me a PM, and I'll be glad to talk to you about being a group member. It's very inexpensive, and we can get you going there. I'm not going to go into a whole sales pitch or anything. It's just a little soft pitch, let you know it's available if you want it. Anyway, you guys have a great night. What is it? This is Thursday, right? Okay. So we got one more day left in the week. Make your last day of the week a successful one, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow night. Have a good evening.